Gen Z job crisis. Maybe there's just too many college graduates now? Nah, really? You don't say. Ah, dude, who could have predicted that if it becomes just an expectation, not even a requirement, if it's expected that you go to college and have a college degree, who could have guessed that bachelor's degree would become the new high school diplomas that you have to go into debt to get? That's where we are now. Like college degrees, when only a small percentage of the population went to college and got a degree, degrees were worth something back then. Now it's just like a high school diploma. It's something that everyone has, to the point where you're weird if you don't have one. You watered down whatever value the degree would have had. Now we got multiple generations that fell for the brainwashing, and now they're just stuck. Probably went to hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt, got some useless degree. What now? Well, you're going to compete for that professional golf management job? There's like 2 open in the whole country, but you're competing with a couple thousand fellow graduates for that degree? Well, good luck, I guess. I hope you know the person that's doing the hiring, because that's the only way you're going to get the job is through good old-fashioned nepotism. Amid the debate over AI's role in limiting job opportunities for Gen Z, there's also the fact that for decades, many parents have been encouraging their kids to go to college. Oh, it's not only the fact that they've been encouraging them to go to college. It's what they're getting their degrees in that's important too. And every time I bring that up, I always end up triggering some drooler out there. You don't know what you're talking about, RGE. According to the statistics, having any college degree will increase your lifetime earnings as opposed to not having a degree. Okay. Two counterpoints there. The first counterpoint is those stats, if you actually looked at them, always come from averages. So they just average out all college graduates and compare them to all people without college degrees. And because a lot of college graduates are extremely well off and wealthy, that they just skew the entire set. So yeah, the average for college grads is higher than the average for non-grads. But that doesn't mean that everyone that got a degree is going to suddenly make more money than if they just didn't get that degree. So that's the first point we need to talk about. And the second point is, on the lower end of the people who like that they only have slightly higher lifetime earnings when they got a degree versus if they hadn't, that increase doesn't even put a dent in their student loan debt that takes them decades to pay off. They end up paying like triple the amount of what the initial loan was because of interest. The extra amount they make in lifetime earnings sometimes isn't even enough to cover the extra debt they took out. So if you're gonna go to college, at least get a degree that's worthwhile. You'll raise your chances. But if you don't, if you get a useless degree, you're going to end up working the same type of job you could have gotten straight out of high school without a degree. Except if you did it straight out of high school, you wouldn't have wasted a couple $100,000. You wouldn't have wasted 4 years of the prime of your life. That is something people don't consider as much as they should. It's not just the money you're losing, it's the time. And it's not just any time, it's the prime of your life. Late teens and 20s, that is the prime of your life. Do you want to waste half of that just so you could get a job you could have gotten 4 years earlier and been 4 years ahead now? Why do I have to tell kids this? Why can't their parents do their jobs and fucking parent these kids? I don't know. I don't know why I have to be the one to say this. That means the share of the workforce of the bachelor's degree is larger than it was in prior generations. Oh, by far. Like, no, college used to be something that like a single digit percentage of the population did. Now it's everybody. Everyone is expected to have a college degree. You think that might result in some things being watered down just a little bit? Not much, just a little bit. Creating a new dynamic for Zoomers who have just finished college and are looking to launch their careers. In a note Thursday, Ed Yardeni, President and Chief Investment Strategist at Yardeni Research, examined unemployment among recent college grads and found potential factors contributing to it. Do tell. What does the smart academic, what did he figure out? He pointed out that the graduates from the age of 22 to 27 have historically enjoyed a lower jobless rate than the overall workforce, but that started to change around current year -10. Well, before the advent of OpenAI's chatbot in late current year -3 and the rush into generative AI that followed. Yeah, and plus the AI stuff is only affecting some fields. Like actually my field, like computer science, is being hit very hard by AI right now. But I still think it'll end up just like when it was hit before with outsourcing. Eventually, everything is going to come back once these companies have to pay someone to clean up all the vibe coding messes. In fact, data compiled by the New York Fed shows that unemployment rate for recent grads edged above the total rate in December current year -11, when it was 5.6% versus 5.5. The years that followed saw the two rates go back and forth, trading places. But during the pandemic, joblessness among recent college grads began consistently exceeding the overall rate. And in early current year -3, the separation between the two trend lines began widening. By contrast, the jobless rate for all college graduates across every group has stayed well below the total rate for at least 35 years. Okay. I think part of this as well, and no offense if you're one of the good ones, this is mostly just pointing out how tough of a job you have it. Like, you got your work cut out for you. But a few years of colleges just shitting out useless activists that sucked at the job they were hired to do and only cared about turning their employer into a platform for their activism, that has turned employers off of not just college graduates, but particularly young college graduates. Your professors screwed you worse than you think. So you need to do everything in your power if you get a job interview to let the interviewer know you're not like your peers. You got to make damn sure they get the point. According to the latest data, unemployment rate for recent grads was 4.8% in June, while it was 4% for all workers. Why the change? Well, actually, there's something else a lot of people don't consider here. The unemployment rate doesn't consider people who have given up looking for work. A lot of older people who lose their jobs in the current economy aren't really going to have good luck finding something that pays even remotely what they were before. So a lot of these older people just find ways to retire early, since they see they're not going to be able to get a job that's worthwhile for them anyway. And then you also got people that have been looking for so long, they just gave up and stopped looking. Those are generally not recent college graduates. Like, recent grads are just starting their job search. So all of them are listed in the unemployment statistics. But when it comes to all workers, there's a large subset of people who have, for whatever reason, just stopped looking. And once they stop looking, they're no longer counted as unemployed. So the number might actually still be way higher for the all worker category. It's just they're not being counted anymore. Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to find work if I lost mine at the moment. Well, why do you think I'm putting up with so much bullshit from my day job? Because it's the same for me. I am so glad I didn't quit when times were great, during the pandemic. Whew, that would have been rough. Why this change? I kind of went over a lot of possibilities. It's not the only possibility. It's not the only option, but it's got to count for something. Maybe due to an increase in college indoctrinated people in the workforce generally these days. I think this is a factor. It's watering down the value of a degree. So new entrants are competing for jobs with more experienced college graduates. And the more experienced ones don't have the same stigma. So even if you're relatively young, if you have multiple jobs under your belt and you got references that can vouch for you, that you're not just a useless activist, that'll do wonders for your job search. But if you're just some fresh nobody straight out of college, there's no way they know whether you're an indoctrinated drone or not. Yeah, you're gonna have a very rough time. So I got part-time job. It's easier than trying to go full-time. Yeah, honestly, you'd be better off getting multiple part-time jobs. I mean, maybe keep the job hunt up and see if you could get a full-time job. But until then, get as many part-times as you can handle. Citing indoctrination data initiative, he added that the percentage of Americans with bachelor's degree or higher is now 37.5%, up from 25.6 in 2000. And between 1993 and 2023, the government college graduates soared 74.9%, while those with only a high school diploma increased 14%. It's college is the new high school diploma, like I said. Meanwhile, a separate New York Fed analysis breaks down unemployment rates by college majors. See, that's the important stuff. The breakdown by what the actual degree was. That's what you guys need to be paying attention to. Shows that graduate degrees in computer engineering, computer science, physics, information systems, and management have higher jobless rates than workers overall. Yep, so computer engineering and computer science, the whole learn to code meme was taken way too seriously and literally by people. So those fields got, like, the first hit was way more people entered the field in college than there are jobs in the field to begin with. Then H-1Bs make the problem even worse. AI makes the problem even worse. Like these fields in particular hit very hard by AI. So it's pretty much the perfect storm of everything being against them. Physics? No one should be fucking surprised by this. You can't get a job with a physics degree unless it's as a researcher. And there's only so many of those jobs to go around. So you better use your time in school to network and make sure you get one of those rare jobs. Information systems? I guess IT guys? I'm actually surprised there's a glut of those, but I guess maybe H-1Bs are kind of bumping that a bit too. Management? Yeah, that's obvious. MBA, bruh. We see what MBAs are capable of. I don't even need to say anything about that. This suggests that too many kids opt to go into computer-related fields and face a tougher time than expected landing a good job. This is not wrong. There is all the other factors I mentioned too, but yeah, oversaturation, like not only just in degrees in general, but specific fields. Yes, this is the downside. Like it is one of the more useful degrees, but it may not seem that way if everyone gets that degree. Because now you just got way too much competition, man. To be sure, evidence is mounting that AI is shrinking opportunities, especially at the entry level. And Yardeni highlighted a recent survey by Cengage Group that showed AI is among the top reasons why more employers plan to hire the same or fewer entry-level workers than last year. He also cited a current year -2 paper by the National Bureau of Economic Research that found that AI actually resulted in corporations having more lower-level employees who are able to use the technology, which allowed them to make decisions without management, creating a flatter organization. Yeah, this I just think is funny because the middle managers were the ones that were salivating at the thought of replacing all of their workers with AI. And then they ended up getting replaced before the people under them. That was just brilliant, man. And don't forget Orange Man's tariffs, which have stoked some inflation and boosted uncertainty about the economy, making it difficult for companies to plan ahead and grow their headcount. This, I think, is actually a pretty good criticism against Orange Man, especially when he keeps like adding new tariffs and just announcing things just willy-nilly whenever he feels like. As a business, you're not going to take risks in this environment. You're just going to bunker down and double down on safe bets and try to ride it out. And that's what all these businesses are doing. Yeah, just because the tariffs are one way now don't mean they're going to stay that way. They may not even be that way tomorrow. So you can't place any, like, imagine if you put in a massive order for, let's say, paper. You put in a massive paper order from like Canada, and then the next day, Orange Man slaps Canada with like a 300% paper tariff. So now you're going to have to pay like triple the amount if you actually want to get that inventory into your country. That's definitely not good. I see what Orange Man is trying to do, but the fact that he just keeps making these decisions on a whim like this, like that's not doing him any favors. If he announced this shit at least a year ahead of time, it would be a different story, though. A lot of developers graduating information systems couldn't code despite the fact that that's their bread and butter. Oh, no. I know. Like, I remember when I was in college in my computer science classes, the intro to computer science class had a few older guys in there that apparently they were in the field for decades, and this was their continuing education, and they couldn't even do a simple Hello World program. I mean, I think I mentioned this years ago. That was the day that I realized that I'm going to have an easy time in this field. As soon as I saw that, and I'm like, man, if this is my competition, I'm going to have it made. If I'm going to be competing with a bunch of people that don't even know how to do the job they've allegedly been doing for like 20 years, I think I'll be fine. So others on Wall Street are also skeptical about AI's role in Gen Z job crisis. UBS chief economist Paul Donovan described the U.S. labor market as peculiar, pointing out that young workers in the Eurozone have record low unemployment. Their rate in Airstrip 1 has fallen steadily, and their labor participation in Japan is at near all-time highs. Yet I still keep hearing about how shit the Japanese economy is, though. I guess it's fine. You know, as long as you're employed, it doesn't matter. You're basically a slave. At least you got a job, right? Now, it seems highly implausible that AI uniquely hurts the employment prospects of younger U.S. workers. Now, you know what does, though? Activist colleges. Colleges that have been shitting out nothing but activists for years, and now employers avoid them. That does hurt prospects. After years of being told that college was necessary to get a good job, the pendulum may be swinging the other way. Trade jobs have become more popular, especially among Gen Zers who relish the idea of not being stuck in front of a computer screen to see and see the future that's not so vulnerable to AI. Yup, like I've used this analogy for as far back as I can remember. That there's a lot of these trade jobs are also recession proof, like particularly like plumbers. Yeah, you say you don't have the money until your toilet is a poop fountain and is just spreading fecal matter all over your ceiling and walls and floor. Yeah, whenever you flush, it goes the other way. It shoots out instead of goes down. You're going to find the money to get that fixed really quick. At the same time, a Gen Z job crisis colliding with a student debt crisis, making young people more reluctant to borrow massive amounts of money to obtain a degree with a questionable value. Now, this is good, though. The Gen Z and Gen Alpha are learning. That is a very good call. You do not put yourself 6 figures into debt on something that might get you a job if you're lucky. Not surprisingly, Americans have a much dimmer view on college now. According to a Gallup poll earlier this month, only 35% say going to college is very important, a record low, down from 51% in current year -6 and 75% in current year -15. I think they're starting to see that colleges now aren't teaching kids anything. They're just indoctrinating them to become activists. And that's turning everybody away. So good luck, colleges. You played yourselves. Just sucks that all these innocent kids had to be, go down with them, though.